Didn't I tell you at the last video that we're going to have a bit of a surprise today? A 1959 5E3 Deluxe, Tweed Deluxe. Looks a bit too good to be true. Yes, Harley.
Dude, you look like a bit of a wanker wearing that hat.
What? You're right, Harley. This is much better. Now, we're going to explore a couple of things. One, we're going to see if this is a real 5E3. Just looks a bit too good, doesn't it? In too good condition. And we're going to look at some issues. We're going to check see that the wiring is safe, especially the mains wiring. Check the tubes and the caps for leakage. And he says it sounds a bit dull. So go grab yourself a coffee. Oh, hello. Oh, yes, yes. Yeah, I love you too.
Oh, Dad, why are you using that red cup? Is it the same colour as your new guitar?
Harley, I said don't tell anyone about it.
Well, you're playing with it all the time, Dad.
Well, in that case, let's use it to see if this amp really does sound dull. USA, 110 volt probably, because this is 1959. 110 volt power. Someone's added a 3-pin plug. Good thing. How have they wired it in? Have they wired it the Australian way, in which case that is active? Have they wired it the USA way, which is that is active? I'm a strong believer in wiring this 3-pin plug the American way and not the Australian way. And we're hoping that all step-down transformers have been wired the same way. So that's the first thing we're going to check out. And oh, you notice this old thing? Oh, silly me. Oh, and good God, Harley was right. It is a very good match. Coffee's always great here. Who makes that coffee?
You do, Dad. Enough self-promotion.
Yes, thank you, Harley. Sounds like valve sockets to me, but we'll see. All right. Oh. And something's a bit microphonic there as well. Okay, I'm in the instrument channel. I've got tone on full and yeah, volume's on just under 3. Not bad. It's got a little bit of that loose bottom end, which I'm not a huge fan of in the Deluxes, the 5E3 Deluxes. But that's not too bad, I've got to say. But I can hear a couple of other issues. I think what we'll do is we'll just start on the service and see what it ends up like. We've obviously got something, a tube there that's microphonic at the very least. So we need to check the other two 6V6s, make sure they're still strong, matched, and we'll check out those preamp tubes. Let me pull this chassis out. Now, things that sort of make me sus. And this Tolex is just too perfect. There's not a flaw in it. Usually you see wear marks around the edges. And I'm not sure the lacquering is quite the way I remember a Tweed era amp being. Other giveaway is this grill cloth is a little bit loose, and those lines, I don't know if you can see them, they're not quite dead straight. My suspicions are all gone. This is genuinely an original chassis. I can see the speaker there, 220, I'm not sure if you can see it, 220852. So that's the 57 week of 1958 for that speaker. It's an Alnico. I don't know what this golden voice means there. I don't remember that. It's a P12R Jensen. Very nice. Other things which are a dead giveaway for its originality are these Astron filter caps and these yellow Astron predominantly coupling caps. I will test these. The brown ones, wouldn't be terribly surprised if they had gone. I mean, the amp is now 66 years old in 2025. Very unlikely that they're still okay, but I never just change things. These coupling caps, I know many people out there who are either too lazy, don't have the equipment, or don't know how to interpret taking proper readings on coupling caps. I will not routinely change these. Your sound passes through these things, and so it is critical that we keep whatever is still working here. If they are leaking, I will change them. But if they're not leaking, I'm going to leave them in there. And I don't care what the trolls say. Oh, it's just... Nah, you don't know nothing, mate. You know nothing, Jon Snow. But these can go if they're leaking. They just look so beautiful. I know some people restuff them with modern caps, which I think is great, but it's extra time, which I don't really want to bill to the customer. Now, here's some other things which look pretty cool. We have an original RCA 6v6 and another original RCA 6v6 and rectifier tube, another RCA. Very nice. Preamp tubes, what do we got? Oh, Magnavox. It's a 12AX7. This is a Sylvania. If this is the original tube, it should be a 12AY7 for V1. So because there's no writing left on that, no, I'll put it on my tube tester and see if it tests as a 12AX7 or the correct 12AY7. Let's just check out this mains wiring. I know my fat head's going to get in the way every now and again. Put on my little headlight. Right, here's our mains cable coming in, and it is adequately soldered to the chassis, which I like soldering to the chassis. I might hit that with my super hot soldering iron and get that proper. Now, if that black wire is the active, then it goes here, and it should go first to the fuse, and it doesn't, it goes to the switch. All right, so that's going to have to get redone, and it goes from the switch to the transformer. So what they've done is they've just added an earth cable. Other than that, they've left it as the vintage wiring, where they have one wire from the mains going to the switch, the other wire from the mains going to the fuse, and then back to the transformer. That's not the way we're going to do it. We're going to stick to modern safety standards, which says active goes to the fuse, goes to the switch, goes to the transformer, and the neutral common will go straight to the transformer. So that's the way I'm going to rewire that for safety. Now, because this is still running off US power, Oh, it's a good quality fuse, a Busman. 3 amp. That should be 2 amp, so I'm going to replace that. And then I'm going to lift this chassis out. Remove that speaker. Put these tubes over here so I don't damage those vintage gems. So before I stick my fingers in there, let's just discharge this. And we'll check to see if there's any residual voltage. Nope. Nope. We're good. Just put that screw back there so we don't lose it. Discharging tool can go off. I'll loosen that one. Make sure nothing's plugged in. Good. And the washer. And this one. Pick the washer up. Oh, the washer and the nut off the ground. Just want to direct your attention to this tube chart, and you can learn quite a lot from this tube chart. It will tell us that it is a 5V3. And importantly, what I draw your attention to is these two little stamped numbers here. It's an I and an I. So it's not the number 11, it's 2 I's side by side. So we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Okay, so we start with 1951, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. So it's a 1959 is what tells us with the first I. The second I will be the month. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So this is a September 1959 when that stamp was applied, when that chart was applied to the pine cabinet. So I'm thinking this is the original cabinet and someone did a quite good job on recovering it and retolexing it. So I'm going to still give this a good 9 out of 10 on the recovering job. But it's definitely original. That power transformer would be original. Classic Tone made excellent quality replacements. So not original, but still excellent, excellent. Made exactly the same way as the originals. Okay, we're going to start by checking these capacitors. Almost definitely they'll be replaced. Now they're 16 microfarad, I think. Let me just compare it to my MODs. This is 16 at 475. And we've got 16.6 microfarad at with an ESR of 4.4. So these are probably what I'll be using, way below maximum spec. As a comparison, let's just check the F&Ts. I expect these would be roughly the same. F&Ts, 6 ohms, ESR, and 15.5. Also good. Now, curiosity. Let's see what this first one is. We want to see it under 8. Well, mate, you got to give it to them. 16.6. Right on the limit of 8 microfarad. This one, 15.6. Did I say microfarad? I mean ohms. 16.6 microfarad, and that's 12 ohms, so it's definitely gone. 14.2 microfarad at 10 ohms. So they're, as we expected, they're all going. That's 25 at 25. I'd expect this to be around about 2. and it's 7.3. And instead of 25 microfarad, it's reading 45 microfarad. So that one's going. All right, let me check these cathode bypasses. Well, it's reading 32 at 4.8. That's way out as well. And this could well be, these two caps in particular, could be responsible for the dull sound, because this will basically set up the, let's call it EQ for the sake of a word, of the first stage. 35 microfarad, 5.5 ohms. Okay, so as we thought, all of the electrolytics need to be replaced. Well, we've got those big obstacles out of the way. Let's have a quick check of the resistances. Now, carbon composition resistors are quite infamous for drifting out of spec. Sometimes I'm pretty tough on them, sometimes I'm pretty liberal on them. Depends on their application in the circuit. So here's a 4.7K, and it is currently 8.64. Well, can't see how generous you can be on that one. That's going to have to go. This one's 22K, 25K. Right, so I will probably leave this one in here, but sadly this one is for the chopping block. Now, the reason I'm not too fussy about that is they're dropping resistors. As long as it doesn't take the plate voltages too far away from design, I'm going to leave them in, but that one is double. That has to go. Now, 1 meg, where are you? 1 meg, spot on. What's this one? 1.5K. 1.64, you're staying. This one is 56K. 61K. 56K sounds like it's part of the phase inverter. Indeed it is. Well, we need to find the other part of that phase inverter to make sure that they're well matched, because a cathode phase inverter, I'll explain it later. So there's 220Ks, 241, 248, near enough, you're staying. Oh, here's the other 56K. Now, I forgot what this one was reading. If these, I need these to be very close to each other because they form the two outputs of the phase inverter, the cathode and phase inverter. One's on the plate and one's on the cathode. So this is reading 61. Now, if the other one's reading 61, I'm going to leave it. Look at that. Both of them have drifted up exactly the same amount. A troll would say replace them both. No. Why no? Because it means you don't know how a phase inverter, how a cathode phase inverter works. If you did, you would know as long as these are matched, and they are well matched, they can stay. 100K. Whew, 100K, mate. Both of these are 100K. 103.8. 113. That's 13% over. Okay, I think you might be going, fella. Here, get the black mark of death. I think I've got carbon comps. I'm going to replace it with carbon comp. 68K. No, 35 because I've got. If I do that. Yeah, can I do this? Of these resistors, the only one I'm changing is that one there. I have a little quandary here. Now, the owner says the amp sounds dull. It can sound dull for all sorts of reasons. One is the fact that these two cathode bypass caps have drifted a lot. Even at 25 microfarad, it lets in pretty much the whole spectrum of frequencies for a guitar, way down to bass frequencies. So, for example, this is 25 microfarad. Marshall went to 0.68. They really choked out the bottom end. When I say choked out, they didn't amplify, didn't give as much gain to the lower frequencies as they did to the high frequencies. 25 is going to give gain to the whole range of frequencies. The other issue with this is the coupling caps. They're 0.1. That's very big. If I want to cut out some of that bottom end so the amp doesn't sound as dull, what'll I do? I'm going to think about that for a while. I'm either going to replace coupling caps or reduce the size of the cathode bypass cap, but I'm not going to do both. And by taking away some of the bottom end, it's going to make this a much more flexible amp. It's going to take gain pedals much better because they just tend to fart out a little bit. You know, they sort of go into blocking distortion way too soon. I'm going to do one of these two. I'll either reduce that or reduce that.